Let's continue on with some exponential examples. This time we are using the exponential growth model to find the time. Since 2013, median home prices in Midvale, Utah have been growing exponentially according to the following model, with a growth rate of roughly 4.7% per year. If you had purchased a house in Midvale, Utah for $139,000 in 2014, in what year would the home be worth $268,000? Round to the nearest year. So let's start off with the model. Multiplication in between. Since 2013, okay, so they're just telling us here with this 2013 that the model, the exponential model that's running at 4.7%, started acting like that in 2013. So as long as we're after 2013, this model should be a good predictor. So they gave us 2014, that's within the realm of after 2013. So we actually don't need to use 2013 specifically. We have the growth rate, that'll go in R, although we'll have to do the divide by 100 to make it a decimal. We have the original P sub 0, and then we have a final value in P sub n. And that leaves us one variable left over, n, and that'll be the number of years it took to grow from 139,000 to 268,000. So plugging stuff in, we have 268,000 equals 139,000 times 1 plus 4.7. I'll put it over 100. That's 4.7% to the n. Now to solve for n, we need to get rid of the rest of this stuff. The first step isn't bad. We divide by the coefficient, the 139,000. And just for ease, I'm going to reduce the 1,000 factor that is in this so that we can just work with 268 divided by 139. But you wouldn't have to. You could leave all the zeros. We aren't going to do the division until the last step when we let our calculator work the whole thing out. All right, we are now, we can look at the 1 plus 4.7 over 100. It's a simple number, 1.047 to the n. Okay, let me put that equal sign a little bit over. We'll need a little bit of room. Here we go. This next step is a step that's introduced in this class just for this specific purpose. And you might not understand it, but as long as you know how, like what it provides, what we do is we take log. You can use ln instead. That's your choice. I'll stick with log. And what that allows us to do is bring this n and bring it out in front of the log. It's one of the rules of logarithms. So we now have log of 268 divided by 139 equals n log of 1.047. Now n is just a factor. So we can solve for n by dividing by the log of 1.047 on both sides. And we've solved for n. And I'm going to go with approximate because they've asked us to round to the nearest year. So we will do some rounding. The log button, we have a fraction inside. I'm going to use the fraction button just so that you can see exactly what I'm putting in. And then that I'm going to use the fraction button again. It's going to put that in the numerator. Log 1.047. So I'm utilizing this calculator's math print mode, the TI-30XS. This math print is very convenient so that you can look at what you have enter it into the calculator, and you can see if that's the same as what you have written on your paper. 14.29. To the nearest year, that would be 14 years. We can check this. If we were to plug in 14 for n, starting at 139,000 times 1.047 to the 14, we should be around 268,000. 264,000, we're not quite there, but we rounded down with the years, and so we're not running quite as much, but that's close enough for us to feel really good about this answer. Now that we know that 14 is about what we wanted, we need to read in, and it says in what year would the home be worth, not how many years. So because it says in what year, we actually want to go back to the starting year of 2014 and add the 14 to that and see that the years, the in what year is actually 2028. That's the year in which we will pass the value of 268,000. At the beginning of that year, it won't quite be. It was 264,000 or so. At the end of that year, it'll be over that. So during that year, it will reach 268,000. All right, your turn. Go ahead and pause the video and work this out. Do notice that this time they're just asking for how many years, and there's no actual year, so you will just come up with the final number of years. All right, what you should end up with is n is approximately 39 years. And to verify this, you can start off with 10,000 and 1.025 to the 39, and this should be around 26,000. Feels good. All right, I hope this helps.